Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I am your host GamerGuy33 and you might recognize that we are not in the same area we left off last time. Well, that is because as soon as I got into that room I was in last time, I saw that across the way there was a door with another lock on it and I was all out of keys. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the Let's Play, I got lost in the Forest Temple, which I think is a pretty easy thing to do when you consider there are two branching doorways that lead to areas that are both gardens. There's like 5 doors to choose from right off the bat. It's hard to pick out the right direction because you think you're making progress. Like in the other room, I had keys. I was going forward, and it turned out I was going to hit a dead end. Speaking of dead ends, we have some skeleton dudes to fight. I underestimate these guys, honestly. They're a bigger pain in the butt than I give them credit for. To me, I relate them very much to the lizard enemies with the swords. Like, oh, they stand up, they sword fight you, they slash. But what makes these guys the biggest pain in the butt in the world is their shield. Because a lot of times you think you'll get a slice off, but the shield blocks you. Now, this is bad for my normal strategy, because as you can see, I like using the jump slash a lot to finish off enemies because it's a stronger attack. However, the length of the jump slash is so long, they're usually able to block with their shields and counterattack like that right there. This ends up letting me get hit a lot, and it's kind of bad. But it still works effectively on these guys because I get lucky for the most part. Also, there's no time limit on these guys if I recall correctly. Other dungeon bosses with these, if you fight 2 of them, they can respawn, I think. So, come on, Lunk, finish him. There we go. That took long enough. Anywho, doors open, and we finally get the treasure chest with the extra key in it. So, we're kind of low on lives, so I just check over here, and oh, we got a fairy. Awesome. So let's go ahead and jar that, and I still have the 2 gallons of milk from Lon Lon Ranch. So, funny story, I actually like milk a lot in real life, like I drink a ton of it, and I have a couple friends who really like milk too, and being the milk connoisseur that I am, I shop around, try and find the best prices, compare the different brands and stuff, and you would think if you go to like a store like Safeway or Albertsons or Ralph's or whatever you have in your local area that I don't know because I've only lived in California, you would think grocery stores would have the best deals on milk. They used to have a deal where if you buy 2 gallons you get a discount. Now 7-Eleven has that same deal. However, the 7-Eleven deal is actually better than all the grocery stores I know of around here. I was talking to my friends one day, and they would go 20 minutes to the store and actually plan their grocery trips around when they needed the milk and when to buy it. And I was with them along this trip, and they live right across the street from the 7-Eleven. So I told them, hey, you know, you can get a discount, right? And it's cheaper there. And they're like, no, I don't think that's right. I'm like, my good sir, are you questioning my knowledge of milk? And we went over there, and you know what? The milk was cheaper at 7-Eleven. And I felt like I did a good thing that day. I shared my knowledge of milk with the world, and the world was a better place for it. And hopefully 7-Eleven doesn't jack up their prices after I spread the news of all their cheap milk. And that's one of the signs that you can always tell a recession is going on, when the price of food like milk and vegetables and fruit starts going up, because the farmers want more money. They're afraid of another Great Depression situation going on. It's like, oh my god, we're so good at producing food, but it's so cheap now. Anywho, so we're back on track. Wasted, what, like 4 minutes having to go back and get that key because I missed it in the first place. At least I got to take a shortcut to the front, though, because I just had one of those ceiling master guys grab me, which, actually, I didn't show off in the last video, did I? There are hands that drop down from the ceiling and grab you and take you back to the entrance. But normally you don't want to be grabbed by them. Just in this situation worked out well, because I didn't feel like running backwards all the way to get to the room I wanted to get to. And here's me looking around this room. Nothing in it, of course. And you can see the 2D sprite for the skeleton dude in there. Here's me getting hit in the face. Awesome. And I try using a Deku Nut just to see if maybe it'll stun them. Because honestly, after you get other weapons, I stop using the Deku Nut. So I don't really experiment on what works with them and what doesn't. So this time, you can really see the jump slash is not paying off for me. It leaves me way too open. So I just start using basic quick slashes to see if I can nick the corner of him. And I also try and just keep sweeping him to the left. That way I'll be on his side without the shield and hopefully be able to strike him like that. But I'm extremely low on health, and I have a feeling I'm probably going to die. Oh, look at that. Lunk. The skill. You just completely sidestepped that slash. I was going to say a bad word and then decide against it, so... Good self-centering. Yeah, I'm just not going to talk about that anymore. Words are not coming out properly. Oh, and I got a heart from a jar, so that'll make this a little bit easier. Dude, he is full of energy. He's like, slash, bounce, slash, bounce. And our reward for killing that guy is we get to fight 2 more of them. And like I said, they're difficult enemies, but I like them because they actually give a lot of challenge to the game. And that guy also did the bounce, slash, bounce, slash. It'd be cool if Lunk could do that. Just like, slash, nope, keep slashing. No recovery time. And I'm down to 1 heart again. These guys are pretty fast, actually, if you watch them. I slashed him, do damage, and he still backed off. Like, there wasn't even, like... It wasn't even like a recoil. It was just like, oh, I was going backwards anyway. But since I'm not hurt by your sword, it doesn't really matter. Oh, but I know, Mr. Skeleton, that you're being hurt. And you can see in the background, too, that the skeleton hasn't, like, disappeared in a puff of fire or melted away or anything like that. That's because if I don't defeat this guy fast enough, which was almost a problem there, then the other skeleton will come back to life, and you just have this horrible chain of having to keep beating guys over and over and over again. So we got a big chest in here. Since we just defeated some hard enemies, I'm assuming it's a good item, and we got... Yep, it's the fairy bow. The fairy bow is a pretty useful item, especially later in the game when you start getting different types of arrows. You're definitely going to be using it a lot. Most of the time, however, I rather use the hook shot just because it doesn't waste any ammo. With the bow, of course, it uses arrows to fire off. The advantage of the bow, though, once again, though, is it actually does damage. While the hook shot will either do nothing or paralyze the enemy. I mean, it still damages some enemies, but most of the time, if you want to hurt someone, you have to do arrows. Plus, the other advantage of arrows, too, is they're faster. The hook shot is very slow. It has to load out. With the bow and arrow, it's more instantaneous. You don't have to worry about the travel back path. And also, I forgot to mention Lunk. Really? Really, Lunk? You gonna do this? Come on. There you go. Another thing with the bow and arrow is the reach, of course, is a lot longer than the hook shot. So, like, when you're shooting up that stairway, you have to use an arrow. You can't use the hook shot to make that shot, I don't think. I've never really tried. I'm pretty sure it won't work anyway, because that would just be bad design on part of the game developers. But anywho, here's the first of the 4 Ghost Sisters. Something kind of interesting about them is they can't be hit while they're invisible. I guess they're incorporeal. I'm not sure the right word to use there. They're invisible. My sword goes through them. So yeah, let's use that. It's not like Harry Potter with the invisibility cloak where Harry is still there, and it'd be fun to hit him through it. Just imagine like you're running and you bump into him. He's like, oof! He falls down. He hears glasses crack. And he's like sobbing underneath the invisibility cloak, and you're like, I hit a ghost! Except Harry Potter has ghosts too, and you can see them. I don't know if they turn invisible. I don't know, I haven't read a Harry Potter book in like 3, 4 years. Whenever the last one came out. Was it that long ago? I get confused with all the movies, because the movies keep coming out every year, so I feel like it's kind of like the brand is continuing, so it feels like the book should be continuing too. But clearly, I do not remember. Anywho, we're going back to the Twisted Hallway. Ooh. And we're going to shoot the eye again, just because I'm pretty sure I remember seeing the treasure chest with the Master Key? Boss Key? Big Key? I don't know what they call it in the series. Let's find out. With the important key against the wall, so we need to twist it again to go grab it. And okay, now I'm actually curious what it's called. I'm gonna say Big Key. Big Key? boss key. Oh, I got it wrong. Oh, and you hear that swooshing sound? That's the sound of the wall master coming to get me. Here, more bubbles to fight. And here where I show off the arrow is fast, but it is not fast enough to always hit the enemies. It works a little bit faster when you get close to the enemies, but then again, you can just use your sword. Lunk, you are doing fantastic right now. At least you killed the guy, but I mean, come on, you got like 5 more hits than you really needed to take. Actually, we are pretty damaged, so what we're going to do is drink some ice, cold, refreshing milk, which I just realized we got 7 years ago. I'm pretty sure that milk is past its expiration date. So hopefully, I mean, it healed us. I mean, hopefully Lunk doesn't end up throwing up later. Giant Deku Baba in the face. Here, I show off that stunning power of the hook shot. I think an arrow would actually just damage the Deku Baba. And I look over here because I think there's a door, but there's not. For all I know, there's probably a bomb on the wall, but let's just go ahead and show off the Floor Master. These guys are pretty interesting because they float, they're invincible, and when you slash them, they go into 3 little bits, but you can do this to take them all out. Oh yeah, Lunk. You're starting to get into your groove, I can tell. You're doing better. Let's grab another small key here. I had a feeling for a second it was going to be a rupee as soon as I said that. It's like, oh, you only get 5 rupees out of that. This room, completely useless. But no, we got a small key. So, good job, Lunk. Except for your ability to not open doors, you are coming up in the world. Let's just run past the bubbles. Bubbles? Bubbles? What I can't remember what the flaming skull things are called. The flaming skull-headed flying bat creatures. Wonder how you even make those. Like, is it just a skull that just like finds a key and just like gnaws at the body and takes the wings, and then magic makes it fly? I don't know. I don't know. That sounds a little twisted to me. So let's go ahead and hope that's not what happens. Although I don't really like keys, so whatever painful fate that awaits them due to their own devices of being jerks is fine with me. So let's go ahead and skip these guys too. Use our arrow and hit the eye back open. And watch as everything gets all twisted again. Of course, this movie won't come out for a while, but the Twisty Hall kind of reminds me of Inception, just because of that hallway fight they had in the hotel room. I know it wasn't an actual twisted hallway, that it was just one that kept rotating around and stuff like that. But the whole idea of like, oh, you're walking and you're kind of on the wall now. Okay, now you're actually on the ceiling. That is what reminds me of that. So you might notice that we're coming back the way we came in originally. That is because I realized that A, the boss key was back there, and B, that we needed to go get the, I think there's another small key too. This way leads us to the last ghost. Or not the last ghost, well, the last ghost we do in this manner. It's very similar to the first ghost, so we shoot the picture frames, like so. Good job, Lunk, you actually got on the first try this time. And, we have to kill it again, much like we dispatched the first ghost. I think all 4 ghosts fight the same, actually. It's just how you unlock them can be different. Like this one, we did as the first ghost. The next 2 ghosts are actually going to mix it up a little bit. And once again, this is another one of those areas where I think you can get easily lost in the Forest Temple, because this part looks just like the last part. The only way I ever tell the part is the ghost pictures. And, so when I'm walking back through there, I don't know if I'm going forward or backward half the time. And once again, using the jump and slash to dispatch of the ghost. And bounce. Their pattern's really basic, so they're pretty easy to take out. It's only when I'm trying to get fancy that I usually get hit by them. So we took them out. We get another big chest, which we already have the fairy bow. We already have the map, so this can only be the compass, really. And kind of funny they'd give you the compass after taking care of like half the mini bosses. Well, anywho, that's going to be it for me. See you next time in Let's Play Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and take care.